Hi, I'm Avani. I'm a stock designer on the Sidekick. Today I'll be interviewing Mudumby for Teatime Tuesday.
Hi, my name is Shrija, and I'm the executive editorial page editor of the Sidekick, and I'm super excited to do this with you.
So this week is Scholastic Journalism Week, so we're interviewing one of Sidekick's editors. So, what made you want to join the Sidekick?
So in my freshman year, I took the Arts and Audiovisual Technical class, and in that class I learned a lot about media and different ways of storytelling, like writing and photography, and I really wanted an outlet to use those skills that I learned. And when the Sidekick staffers came to my class, I thought that it was the perfect program for me because I've always liked to write, and I've never really written for anyone before until I joined the Sidekick, and joining the Sidekick, really helps me write not just for myself but for my community. And I think that's one of the biggest things that pushed me to join the program.
So, what are the roles you held in the Sidekick?
So in my sophomore year, I was just a staff writer, but I also took photos, and in junior year, I became the communications manager, which means I had to oversee all of the major communication that happened. And since that year was year filled with virtual learning, that was a really important role. And this year, I graduated to an executive editor, so I think I've taken one little step up from each year of my stuff, which is really good.
What does being the executive page editor entail?
So I'm the executive editorial page editor, which means I'm in charge of the opinions section. And it entails me just running the opinion section. So I have to provide local ideas, I have to assign them. I think an even bigger thing I didn't realize is that I have to encourage people to have an opinion in the first place. Something I noticed is a lot of incoming staffers, their biggest fear was writing an opinion story because they thought that their opinion was too small or that they weren't worthy enough to write a column. And as a leader of that section, I really had to promote the opinion section so that, even journalists have a voice. And I think the biggest thing that I'm grateful for is I learned that we're the ones who report the news, which is why our voice matters even more, because we know so much more than a regular Kappa resident would, because we know so much details as journalists. And I think in a world where we have so many people get hurt for having different opinions, and people are scared, it kind of acted it was kind of like a shield. As a leader of this section, my job really entails me encouraging people to remove that shield and really raise their voice.
What makes the Sidekick and by extension high school journalism so important? This week is to celebrate journalism in general, but high school journalism is a big part.
High school journalism, I think, is honestly one of the most underrated things in this country. I think a lot of people, when they see the Sidekick on our racks, they don't realize how much work has gone into that and how much love has gone into every single issue that we put out. And that's something I didn't even learn until I was on the Sidekick staff, And also, journalism is borderline just so important because we wouldn't know majority of the things if it wasn't for journalists. When something happens, it is journalists that are the first people to take action and report the news. And we're doing this not to make a profit, but to really serve our community. And we're doing this for other people. Journalism is selfless, and I think it's an act of service which really needs more recognition. And I think really appreciating students and teenagers, because we're the next generation of the world, And if we're doing so much to inform people, that needs to be celebrated. And I think this week is a great week, but I think journalism needs to be celebrated every single day, every single week. It needs to be honored, every story, every photo, and every graphic.
Well, thanks for this conversation, Shrija. And happy Scholastic Journalism Week to all our fellow journalists out there, and make sure to check out all the cool content our staff is publishing this week.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a great time.